I love wearing wrap pants. They're so flowy and comfortable, I could wear them every day. Instead of taking some measurements and drafting a pattern, I'll show you how to take a basic pants pattern and transform it to a wrap pants pattern. And this way you will fully understand how the pattern works and you can be 100% sure that it will fit perfectly. If you want to dive right into sewing, the link to the pattern is in the description. After the pattern creation process, I'm also going to show you the key measurements you're going to have to take to check once again that your pattern is correct. Materials you're going to need is a main fabric for your pants, which should be nice and flowy and thin for a pair of summer pants. And you're also going to need a fabric that is a bit stiffer to put into the waistband to make it a bit more structured. Let's make the pattern. First, you're going to take both of your pant legs and put them straight down on the floor. Make sure that in the crotch the seam allowances overlap and the seam lines line up. Tape the pattern down on the floor to make sure that it won't move around and you can easily create your pattern. Take some paper, place it underneath the top area and trace around it. Mark a place on your pattern and measure how long your pant legs have to be. You can also fill the space with paper, but I didn't want to waste so much paper. Then measure half the back piece and add it to the front piece, and measure half the front piece and add it to the back piece. This way you're creating the overlap. Now all that's left to do is to close up the pattern by drawing a straight line down from the points you just marked and cut it out. The pattern is finished and I would recommend to check 3 main measurements right now. So the first one is the crotch length. So you're going to measure from your belly button through in between your legs towards your backside. And this is your crotch length, and just make sure that the curve on your pattern is the same length. The second measurement is your waist measurement. So again, measure from the belly button towards the side and towards about half the back. And this is how long the top edge of your pattern is supposed to be. The third measurement is the leg length. So just again, take your measuring tape and start about at your waist and measure to the floor or how long you want your pant legs to be. And then check that the pant legs of your pattern are the same length, of course, plus seam allowance. If you're now very sure that your pattern is perfect, then you can start cutting out the pieces. I put my pattern piece on the fabric and pinned it in place. I also added the outline of the pattern so I don't have to spend ages measuring. Then I cut it out. When you're cutting, make sure you cut out 2 mirrored pieces so you end up with 1 left and 1 right pant leg. Because my fabric is wrinkled, I taped it down on the floor to force it to be a rectangle and make sure that it's gonna be cut out evenly. For the waistbands, cut out 2 pieces that are 10 cm wide and 150 cm long. You have to be able to tie them both around your waist. I also cut out 2 pieces that are 10 cm by the length of 2 front or 2 back pieces from a stiffer fabric to stabilize the waistband in the area where it's attached to the pants. If your fabric is stiff enough, you don't need those extra pieces. Everything is cut out, so now you should have 2 pant legs, 2 waistbands including the ties from the out fabric, and 2 waistbands that are shorter from the lining fabric. So now we can start hemming the long sides of the pant legs. Hem all 4 sides of your pant legs. Do that by folding them once and pressing them in place, and then fold them another time and press them in place again, and then sew them down. Make sure that you don't stretch out the fabric while pressing or sewing to ensure that it won't end up being wavy. After you're done with sewing, press the hems once again to make sure that they will end up looking pretty and not wavy. Hemming is done. The sides are looking a bit wavy because it was kind of hard not to stretch it out while sewing because the fabric was just so thin and slippery, but I think it's gonna be fine. So next I can start to put together those pant legs. Put the pant legs right sides facing and sew along the U shape. I sewed the seam twice to stabilize it and prevent it from stretching out. Zigzag stitch the edge to prevent fraying, press it and press the 2 pieces open. The pant legs are sewn together, and if you want to make really sure that this curved seam won't stretch out over time, you can just take some bias tape and sew it on the seam to stabilize it. Next, we're gonna start working on the waistband, and if you think that your main fabric is thick enough to work as a waistband, then you can just skip the step and start to sew the waistband on the pants. Find the midpoint on one waistband and on the stabilizing waistband. Align them on the midpoints and pin them together along the edges. Sew them together within the seam allowance so the seam won't be visible in the end. Mark the middle of the waistband and sew them together along this line as well. Repeat all the steps to the other waistband. The waistbands are prepared. By the way, if you like the video and what I do, subscribe to my channel. I would highly appreciate it. And right now, let's sew the waistbands to the pants. Find the middle of the waistband and align it with the center front or the center back. It doesn't matter because the front and the back piece are going to be assembled exactly the same way. If your fabric has a print, make sure that it's facing in the same direction. Put the waistband and the pants right sides facing each other and sew them together with 1 cm seam allowance. Fold the waistband in half and starting at the point where the pants end, start sewing and close up the ends of the waistband. Cut off the excess and turn them inside out using a tool of your choice. I just used a pencil because I had it on hand. Now you're gonna have to press the waistband, so listen carefully. First, press the seam allowance up into the waistband. Then fold the waistband in half with the center stitch line, which is connecting the outer and the inner waistband, visible on the inside. Last, fold the edge into the waistband so it's still covering the seam that connects the waistband and the pants. Sew it in place from the outside, very close to the seam, but not on the waistband. I'm using this method all the time whenever I'm attaching waistbands or something similar, and it's called stitch in the ditch. And this is how it's gonna look from the inside. Now give it a final press and one of your waistbands is done, so you just have to repeat all the steps to the other waistband. Try your pants on, be excited how well they fit, and mark how long you want the pant legs to be. Cut them off, making sure that you leave enough room to be able to hem the pants. Now fold the edge over twice, press it in place, sew it down, and it's ready to wear. It is finished! And I really like how it turned out. I think it's just so nice and flowy, and I'm also really glad that I put the lining into the waistband because it just makes it so much more structured and look so much better on the waist. And I'm also glad that I did this seam in the center of the waistband because it just prevents the lining from scrunching up in the waistband, and that would just look very weird. I hope you enjoyed the video. I highly appreciate you being here, and I hope you wanna watch more of my videos. But now, without further ado, let's have a look at the finished pants. I hope you like watching my videos, and if you want to see me make another pair of pants, you can watch this one where I make some flared shorts. Or if you want to make a matching top to your pants, go check out this video where I explain how to make a cute corset top.